Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, March 20th, 2017.
Commissioner Rivas, Repenning, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Tim Tyson, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Hassan Rod, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Sunny Patel, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Sefi Wiles with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment, no commentary under the Neighborhood Council commentary section, and we did receive a speaker card on item number 4 for today's agenda.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Friday, March 3rd, 2017? By Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll approve that those meeting minutes. Agenda item number 7, motion recommending that the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request of Ford EC Incorporated for a subcontractor substitution of Otis Elevator Company with Tyson Krupp Elevator Corporation to perform the elevator portion of work and substitution of Otis Elevator Company with Ford EC to perform the elevator pit and waterproofing work for the South District Sewer Maintenance Yard project. Mr. Smith on number 7.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau Contract Administration General Services Division. The Bureau received a request from Ford EC on January 23, 2017 to substitute Otis Elevator Company, their OBE subcontractor for elevator work, with Tyson Krupp Elevator Corporation, another OBE subcontractor, to perform a portion of that work, and a smaller portion would be done by Ford EC's own forces. There was no letter accompanying their request from Otis withdrawing from the work, so the Bureau sent a 5-day notice to Otis, which they did not respond to. Otis was originally bid listed for $205,000. The amount requested for approval by Ford for Tyson Krupp's portion of the work was $146,000, and Ford's portion of the work $59,000. The total amount is $205,000, which will be at no additional cost to the city, and the Bureau concurs with Commissioner Davis's recommendation to approve this substitution.
Any questions on agenda item number 7? Commissioner Davis has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 7. Mr. Smith, while you are there, agenda item number 8, recommending that the board concur with the action of Commissioner Davis approving the request of Trimming Land Company Incorporated for subcontractor substitution of IECLT Incorporated with Trimming Land Incorporated for trimming work in the parkways of Chase Avenue from Short Avenue to the alley and other certain areas. Mr. Smith on number 8.
Yes, Bureau received a request from Trimming Land Company on February 13, 2017 to substitute IECLT Inc., their OBE subcontractor, with their own forces. Their request was accompanied by a letter from IECLT Inc. withdrawing from the work because apparently they'd had a fire and some of their equipment was destroyed. The bid listed amount for IECLT Inc. portion of the tree trimming work was $22,017.44. However, the amount submitted by Trimming Land for their portion of the work was $22,233.60, a difference of $216.16. Trimming Land will decrease its prime participation by the $216.16, so the work will be performed at no cost to the city. And the Bureau concurs with Commissioner Davis's recommendation to approve this submittal, this substitution.
Questions on number 8, substitution? No questions. Commissioner Davis has made a motion that we adopt number 8, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 8. Any problem sending that forthwith? Mr. Smith, don't go too far. You are here on agenda item number 6, Council District 10, requested contract acceptance, Washington Boulevard Corridor Enhancement Phases 2 and 3, Community Development Block Grant number P33-N13311 or NI3311. Mr. Smith.
No, that one's not me.
Yeah, Mr. President, there may be another representative on item number 6 in the audience. So this is a contract acceptance for Washington Boulevard Corridor Enhancement Phases 2 and 3.
Anybody here on number 6? Okay,
No
so
one on
should we
6, so
continue number 6?
we can continue the item for another week.
Yes, why don't we continue number 6? Mr. Smith, you'll see that somebody comes for number 6 next week, a week from today. But while you're standing there, let's go ahead and do number 5.
Actually, Mr. President, just checking my calendar here, next week, Monday the 27th is
It's
a
a holiday.
holiday, so we can move it to Wednesday, March 29th.
That sounds excellent. That's
Is that
great.
fine?
Is that okay with everybody else?
Perfect.
So we'll move it, number 6, to Wednesday, March 29th, 2017.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris? On agenda item, anybody else here on number 6? Anybody else here on number 6? Okay. On number 5, Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering Emergency Sewer Storm Drain Repair Quarterly Acceptance Report, recommending that the board accept the 76 sewer and 7 storm drain projects of the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program as indicated in the project summaries tables. On number 5, Mr. Smith.
Yes, this is the quarterly acceptance report for the Emergency Sewer Storm Drain Repair Program. A total of 83 projects this time, spanning from 2015 to November 14, 2016 for emergency sewers, and from 2015 to March 17, 2016 for storm drain repairs. There are no specific outreach requirements in this contract due to the emergency nature of the work. There are no outstanding financial or property issues associated with any of these work orders, and the Bureau recommends acceptance.
Questions on number 5? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 4, a joint report, Bureau of Contract Administration and Engineering, Council Districts 4 and 13, requested acceptance of a contract for the secondary sewer renewal program, H25A Hoover Street and Clarissa Avenue, and H25B, Hanzanita Street and Effie Street, recommending that the board first accept the contract. Second, assess Facility Incorporated $74,000 for liquidated damages in accordance with the specifications for the contract. And third, instruct the Director of the Office of Accounting to transfer the recommended $74,000 for liquidated damages from the project escrow account, escrow agreement number 315-B, to the City of Los Angeles. Mr. Smith, on number 4, why don't you summarize us with the issues on number 4, and then we will hear from our representative from Basilich on number 4.
Yes, this project was awarded on January 10, 2011 with a contract duration of 365 calendar days. 81 calendar days were added by change order, giving us a revised contract duration of 446 days. The contractor finished the work in 520 calendar days, which is 74 calendar days in excess of the 446 revised construction duration. The delay was due to the liner sub having a number of corrections that they had to take care of, and the date of acceptance coincides with the date that those corrections were completed. Therefore, the Bureau is recommending 74 days at $1,000 per day, or the $74,000 in the report.
But acknowledging the confirmation by the Bureau that it looks like it was a subcontractor issue?
It was a subcontractor issue.
Doubt on that? Okay, then we'll hear from the Sillage. John Gavigan? Welcome back, sir. Did I say your last name right?
You did,
Okay,
Gavigan.
all right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, as Chris mentioned, it was a specialty subcontractor doing the rehabilitation. All the contract work, all the lining was installed, all the open cut, everything was completed within the original contract time. They had 8 non-compliances where there were some visual defects on the liner that needed to be repaired. They, the city offered a credit on 8 of the reaches, that if the liner sub gave money back to the city, they'd accept the lines. 2 of them, they wouldn't. We had 4 meetings with the GM of Repipe, Bureau of Engineering and Contract Administration. We were told numerous times they'd be out there the next day. I mean, these are all my email correspondence with the guy over the 74 days. They would never show up. They finally did. They made the 2 repairs, as Chris said, and that's when the contract ended. The problem that I have as the general is this is a specialty licensed product that I can't go make the repair. I can't have anyone else come in and make the repair. I have to have Repipe make the repair. They just wouldn't perform. And since this time, Repipe's out of business, so I have no way to go back after them for the, liquidated damages that you guys may assess.
Okay.
And this is another project that ended 5 years ago. And you guys have held, I was told, $108,000.
So, Chris, could I ask you a question real quick, Mr. Smith? And Mr. Gavigan, I may have a question for you as well. So, is my understanding from Mr. Gavigan accurate that the specialty nature of this subcontractor inhibits the prime contractor's ability to do a substitution, I should say?
A substitution that late in the process would be difficult. A sub doesn't want to come in and fix somebody else's mistakes.
So that's always going to be the case. Okay. Mr. Gavigan, did you make any attempts to find substitutions?
At the time, there were no other companies that, usually the general or the subcontractor, Southwest, Repipe, or Sancon, make their own repairs. Since this project ended, there is a company that's willing to make repairs, but at the time, that company wasn't in business. So like Chris said, it's a very difficult process for me to switch out a sub when all the work's done, to have one of the other major lining companies come in to put in a 3-foot patch on a line. No one's really going to want to come, like he said, fix someone else's work, because now they're responsible for the workmanship.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Smith? So here's kind of, I see maybe 3 balls in the air here, in the sense that we don't want to penalize, I don't want to vote for a penalty for Vasilich for the full $74,000. This was a subcontractor issue that the Bureau has acknowledged. However, the Bureau, or rather the prime contractor, these are subcontractors that they select through the process, and as you mentioned, it was late in the game to solve the problem. And we've also got the issue of this time delay because of the backlog at the Bureau of Contract Administration that we've discussed. And so we've held their money for some period of time, and I think that also should result in some relief for the prime contractor. But I have to balance those 2 areas of relief with the fact that we ended up with a 74-day late delivery of the project. My question for you is, was on this particular project, I realize every project is different, was there harm to the city as a result of that 74 delay? Did it have kind of a ripple effect?
The overriding factor in the completion of this job was satisfying the collection system settlement agreement, which this job did satisfy that agreement.
So would you agree with me then that would lean more in favor of a lower liquidated damages assessment?
Generally, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, sir. Colleagues, that's where I am. I see what I think is a fairly significant discount on these liquidated damages for the prime contractor because of the fact that it's a sub, the fact that we've held their money for some time, the fact that it's a sub. It was late in the game that weighs against them, but as Mr. Smith just indicated, wasn't a significant damage to the city. Commissioner Cinto?
Thank you, President James. Mr. Gavin, can I ask you a question, sir? You stated earlier that you did not have recourse against the sub for the non-performance. Sorry, I'm wondering just for the record.
I'm sorry.
And a sub does not perform for you. How do you assess, how do you catch that up? How do you rectify that? How do you remedy that so that's not on you, sir?
Well, it's always going to be against us because we hold the contract. We're the general. For other agencies in our subcontract agreement, we have that we can withhold that money, but with the city, the way your contracts are written, we're not allowed to deduct the amount owed to the subcontractor.
So you're still on the hook for it?
Correct.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? I think we need to assess some liquidated damages here. I don't want to waive it completely, given the testimony that we've had this morning. But, and I'll entertain any suggestions from my colleagues. My initial thought on this is $5,000 because of the three things that we've heard. The fact that it wasn't this prime, it was a sub issue, and well, we've discussed them. Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I could second that motion. I want to say this is probably one of the issues that we look at that makes it very difficult when certainly general prime contractors assume the responsibility for everything done on the project. And yet, in so many ways, we would like to make sure that we have a little of everybody getting an opportunity to be subs. And yet, when something doesn't go out according to schedule, these prime contractors assume the responsibility for the work that often is not done appropriately. And unfortunately, that's one of the responsibilities that they incur. So given the fact that the sub did not follow through to do what he or she should have done, the prime in this case is left holding the ball. So I think to the degree that the city, unfortunately, had to endure these days of not having the project delivered on time, and we unfortunately have to assess something for that. So it's a very complex situation. I support the $5,000 to the degree that what has occurred was not clearly the sole fault of the prime contractor, other than the fact that he selected this subcontractor that happens on occasion. So
That's another issue with your contract. We have to use the lowest sub.
right, and I understand that.
And I don't want to bicker back and forth, but there's the timing issue that Mr. Smith mentioned as well. That was a second on the motion. Commissioner, I'm sorry, Mr. Campos?
Yeah, just for clarification, that motion was moved by Commissioner James and seconded by Commissioner Davis, and that is to reduce the penalty, and this is where I need the clarity, by $5,000 or to $5,000?
It would be reduce it to $5,000.
To $5,000.
So it would be, let me on number 4. Number 1, my motion would be to accept the contract. Number 2, assess Vassilage a $5,000 penalty for liquidated damages, or it's a $5,000 assessment for liquidated damages in accordance with the specifications for the contract, and instruct the director of the Office of Accounting. Well, you finish that on what we do with the balances there, Mr. Campos.
So item number 3 will remain as is, but we would add that we would release the difference, which would be $69,000 to the contractor Vassilage.
Okay. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4 as amended. Any issues, sending it forthwith? We'll
Thank
send
you.
it as forthwith. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 1. Council District 14, change order number 4, Papich Construction Company Incorporated for the asphalt plant number 1 replacement and modernization project, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue a change order to Papich for a deduction to the contract in the amount of $120,000 to delete the installation of 3 stormwater infiltration dry wells. Mr. Young on number 1. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Paul Young, Bureau of Engineering, Architectural Division. As you know, the asphalt plant property is highly contaminated, And when we originally got together the design for the project, to satisfy the Low Impact Development Ordinance, or LID, we had planned to put in 3 infiltration dry wells. However, once the project started and we got the contractor on board, we discovered that the contamination was too deep. So in essence, the dry wells would have to be over 100 feet deep, which would make the dry wells ineffective. As a result, we talked with a few other projects, and the LID does allow that requirement to be satisfied off-site. So what we decided to do is issue this deduction, the credit change order, and provide that LID requirement at another site. And that site would be at Olympic and San Mateo. So we're asking that we be allowed to issue that change order number 4 for a $120,000 deduction.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Commissioner Repenning.
So you're doing the mitigation at another site. How are you funding that, and what does the project look like at that site?
They found another way to transfer the money to that project. The project, I believe, is a street widening project, and it had sufficient area, and it was close enough to the site to where it could be accepted by the Bureau of Sanitation.
So they're doing dry wells, or?
They're doing dry wells,
Okay.
yes.
All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Repenning, anything further? Commissioner Sintos made a motion on agenda item number 1, seconded by Commissioner Rivas. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We will send number 1 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2, Bureau of Street Services in Council District 13, requested tree removal, 5667 West Santa Monica Boulevard, recommending that the board first certify that the board has reviewed and considered the information in the addendum, which was transmittal number 6 to the environmental impact report for the project at 5667 West Santa Monica Boulevard, and find the information contained therein appropriately addresses the requested tree removals. Secondly, find that the project will not have a significant environmental effect under the above described addendum to the EIR, as the imposition of the mitigation measures described in the addendum to the EIR and incorporated herein as project conditions, such that there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have a significant effect on the environment pursuant to the city's environmental guidelines and is in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. Third, find the project's conflict with any local policies or ordinances protecting biological resources such as tree preservation policies or ordinances is less than significant with the incorporation of mitigation measures 4-1 that's contained in the addendum to the EIR. Fourth, adopt the addendum to the EIR. Fifth, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is the custodian of the documents of other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And finally, sixth, approve the request for a no-fee tree removal permit for 6 crepe myrtle trees and 2 Chinese elm trees. Tree replacements are required. Mr. Tyson on number 2. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and the Executive Officer. Brandon and Johnson Incorporated is constructing a 375-unit condominium complex at 5667 West Santa Monica Boulevard as part of vesting tentative tract 6604. Contained within the entitlements are Bureau of Engineering requirements, including street widening and other related street improvements. Mr. Mello, property owner representative, applied to the Bureau of Engineering for a construction Class B permit to widen the street as part of the conditions to construct the project. The Bureau informed Mr. Mello the required street widening may necessitate street tree removals. Therefore, Mr. Mello contacted the Bureau. A Bureau arborist inspected the location on November 2nd, 2016. The inspection revealed 6 crepe myrtle trees in fair condition growing on Santa Monica Boulevard and 2 Chinese elm trees in fair condition growing on North Wilton Place. The trees are in fair condition and measure approximately 6 to 20 inches in diameter by 10 to 35 feet in height and are growing in 5-foot wide parkway and a 4-foot tree wells. An additional 6 crepe myrtle trees located on the West Santa Monica Boulevard are dead, and the trees were allowed to be removed. Within the contents of the letter of determination, Bureau of Engineering Condition S3 requires the developer to widen West Santa Monica Boulevard from a 30 feet half roadway to a 40 feet half roadway, and widen North Wilton Place from a 20 feet half roadway to a 35 feet half roadway. Marisol Rodriguez, District Director, 13th Council District Office, and the Community Forest Advisory Committee were informed of the possible tree removals on November 2nd, 2016. If approved, the applicant shall plant a minimum of 12 24-inch box-size crepe myrtle trees and 4 24-inch box-size Chinese elm trees on site to replace the removed trees and replace the current pallet of trees that are in the area. So in order to widen the street on Wilton and on Santa Monica, it will require these trees to be removed. And so therefore, we're here today to get the board's approval if we can.
Any questions at all? I don't have any questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2, seconded by Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issues sending number 2 forthwith? We will send number 2 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Agenda item number 3 is a tree removal at 14 Oakmont Drive, recommending that the board find that the project is categorically exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 3, Category 1 of the city's Environmental Quality Act guidelines, and there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with CEQA. Second, find that none of the exceptions to the use of the categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of state CEQA guidelines apply. Third, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is the custodian of the documents and other material that constitute the record of the proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. Fourth, review and approve the request for a fee permit to remove 9 coast live oak trees and 1 valley oak tree. Tree replacements are required. Mr. Tyson on number 3.
Good morning again. On this project, the Heltzer Development Group are proposing to construct a 6,237 square foot single-family residence located at 14 Oakmont Drive. The property measures 27,849 square feet with moderate to steep topography. Grading of the sloped areas to allow construction is required to bring the current site and slopes to current codes and standards. Heltzer Development Group acquired the services of Mr. Peter Jensen, registered landscaped architect and certified arborist, otherwise tree expert. Mr. Jensen's report indicates the property contains 15 native protective trees, comprised of 1 valley oak and 14 coast live oak trees. The assessment of the 10 trees will be severely impacted and require removal per the report. The subject protected trees measure approximately 8 to 18 inches in diameter by 20 to 40 feet in height and are in fair to poor condition. One of the trees, number 7, is located within the direct footprint of the proposed dwelling, and the remaining 9 trees are located adjacent to the footprint of the proposed dwelling and will be severely impacted by the project's construction and required grading. A Bureau arborist inspected the location on February 2nd, 2017. The arborist agrees with Mr. Jensen's tree assessment and their recommendation that the tree removals of the 10 will be required. Debbie Diner Harris, Deputy District Director of the 11th Council District and the Community Forest Advisory Committee, was contacted and informed of the tree removal request on January 10th, 2017. Very important, the applicant shall plant 33 15-gallon container-sized coast live oak Orchis agrifolia trees, 7 36-inch box-sized valley oak Orchis lobata trees, and 4 48-inch box-sized California sycamore trees on site to replace the removed trees. If the board approves of protected tree removal, the tree removal permit shall be issued by BSS upon notification of the Bureau of Engineering that the bond has been posted to ensure the survival of the trees.
Commissioner Repenning on number 3.
Thanks, Tim. I just wanted to, in terms of the replacements, we go 4-1 on the protected trees. It looks like they're doing a little bit more than that with the 4 48-inch sycamores.
They're doing 10 extra trees, and that we've let them plant some smaller trees because it's on a hill slope. And we've also sized up some of the other trees. So they got 48-inch box trees going in, 36-inch box trees, and the 15-gallon, I believe it was, for the smaller trees.
So they're taking out 10.
Yeah, that would be 40 trees, and they're putting in 50.
33 plus 7, that's 40, and then I see an additional 4.
I've got 39 plus 7 plus 4. Let's see here. 33 15-gallon. I added wrong, yeah. I put down 39. It's 33 and 7 would be 40, which would constitute the 4-1. And then an extra 4 48-inch box trees.
Great. We're having a little math class here today, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on number 3? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3. Is there a second on number 3 by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, I was informed we had thought Mr. Smith was going to handle it, then found out he wasn't going to handle it, and then we weren't sure who would, and so we continued it a week, and Mr. Smith, to his credit, has looked into it and is prepared to report on number 6 if we recall it. So I would make a motion that we reconsider number 6, seconded by Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we will reconsider number 6. Mr. Smith on number 6. Thank you, sir. I knew you could do it.
My apologies. That's what I get for putting my package together before I've had my coffee. This contract was executed by the board on January 5th, 2015, and completed on April 6, 2016 by XL Paving Company. Work consisted of constructing 3 median islands on Washington Boulevard. Contractor satisfied all of the outreach requirements. There was no PLA, and there are no outstanding property or financial issues, and the Bureau recommends acceptance at this time.
Looked pretty standard when I've looked through it, so anything at all on this, number 6? Thank you, Chris. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We will send number 6 forthwith. Agenda item number 9, Bureau of Engineering and the Bureau of Street Services in Council District 3. Requested reinstatement of a withdrawn street, Conejo Avenue. Requesting that we reinstate a withdrawn street approximately 335 linear feet of Conejo Avenue from Avenue Morelos to Terminus into the city's street system and reinstate it to public use. Carlos Chavez.
Yes, good morning. Carlos from Bureau of Engineering, Valley District Office. To give you guys a little background, in 1936, there was an ordinance to withdraw roughly 250 streets from public use. Most of these streets were done around the hillside, and at the time they were probably dirt roads, and they were withdrawn for liability issues. And so in recent years, Councilmember Bob Blumenfield and his office have coordinated an effort with Bureau of Engineering, basically to look at some of these streets, particularly the ones that are in bad condition, and sort of identify which ones are candidates to be reinstated. And so I've been working closely with his office, and we're going through lists, and this is one of the first of many to come. And so Conejos has been identified specifically because it's been determined that this stretch has been improved by a city approved street plan, but despite this, no record has been shown that it has been reinstated. And so BOE, Bureau of Engineering, with the input of Bureau of Street Services, we recommend that it be reinstated. There's no known controversy, no additional impact to the general fund, and Bob Blumenfield of Council District 3 has been informed and concurs with this recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? I would just add I've had a number of communications really over the last couple of years with Council District 3 regarding a number of these streets, and CE3 has been kind of conducting an inventory along with the Bureaus of Engineering and Street Services to see which of these streets do qualify for this reinstatement, given such a passage of time as has been described. So we've seen a few of these. I expect that we'll probably see a few more on a continuing basis.
There's one more coming, if not next time, very soon.
Great.
Don Juan.
I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 9. Seconded by Commissioners Jacinto and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 9. Any issue sending number 9 forthwith? We'll send number 9 forthwith. It's something the community looks forward to a lot, of course, as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 10, yearly maintenance service, XLA Civic Platform. I'm probably messed that up. Recommending that the board approve the procurement of the Civic Platform yearly maintenance at the cost of $132,281.60. Secondly, approve the Department of General Services authorized by the city charter to handle the sole source procurement of the yearly maintenance. Nicholas Tran.
Good morning, Nicholas Tran with LA Sanitation Information Control Systems Division. We are requesting the approval of the procurement for the Acela Civic Platform's yearly technical support and maintenance at the cost of $132,281.60. The Acela Civic Platform is used for our City Zero Waste franchise system, and Acela is the sole owner, developer, and sole source provider for technical support and maintenance for the platform, and all technical support and software releases are provided exclusively by Acela. Acela is on a current task order solicitation that only includes development and implementation, so it does not include the yearly maintenance for technical support. So we are requesting it to be a sole source procurement.
Has this licensing and case management software, as you described, it says, the motion says continued the software support. Do we have a spending history of a prior year or two of what we've spent on the software?
No, we have not. The system has not gone live yet. It is scheduled to go live on July 1st. So this will be the first procurement for the
first of any of those such expenses?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Penning?
So just in terms of the sole source, we're already using them as our platform, and this is simply another system that's going to be added on top of that. So it would not make sense for us to look for another provider.
Right, that's correct. They are the current developer, and they are helping us implement the system currently for the franchise system, and they will be the one that provide the support and maintenance for that system.
And we will have this in place by July 1st?
Yes, we are anticipating July 1st.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jordan, regarding the sole source justification on this motion, any concerns from you?
No, when there's proprietary technology involved and the software developer is the only firm allowed to go in there and provide support, if in many such cases, I'm not saying that's the case here, but in many such cases, if we were to try to do it ourselves, we'd actually void certain warranties and potentially breach the limited nature of the license agreement. So it's very common in this kind of situation when you have a proprietary software system that the software developer has the only right to go in and provide maintenance.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Commissioner Rivas.
The question, do you know the yearly maintenance amount, is that going to remain the same every year for them to maintain this software?
Yes, currently it will be this current price for the next couple of years.
Okay. So this isn't just a one-time fee,
No, it's not. It'll be
an annual
annual
maintenance?
maintenance fee for the system.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Is there a motion on agenda item? Commissioner Penning's made a motion on agenda item number 10, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objections? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 10. Any issue sending number 10 forthwith? We'll send number 10 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Agenda item number 11, oral report on the project labor agreements quarterly report from the Bureau of Contract Administration, continued from a week ago, Monday, March 13th to today. Angela Tumbakan, and Angela, thank you for coming back and to do the report today after last week.
Oh, thanks for having us. Good morning. My name is Angela Tumbukan from the Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to present the Project Labor Agreement Report for the first quarter of 2017. Okay, let me wait while Mr. Campos passes out the report. Okay, if you would kindly turn to page 2 of the report. Okay. Here you will see on page 2 a summary of the public works projects under the 2010 through 2015 Project Labor Agreement. Since 2011, we have completed and closed 34 projects, and we have 27 active projects. This will bring our total to 61 PLA projects with a total contract dollar amount of $729,496,061. The table on the bottom is a comparison of the PLA achievements for the closed and active projects. The current PLA percentages for our active projects have been met and exceeded 30% local hiring goal. The local hire performance percentage is at 37%. The local apprentice hiring goal is 50%. Our active projects are currently exceeding this goal, where they have attained 58% of apprentices that have been hired are local residents. The disadvantaged worker hiring goal is 10%. The active projects have achieved 19%, almost double of the goal. Please turn to page 3 of the report. This is a summary of the department's 2015 through 2020 new project labor agreement. In the middle table, you will see that since 2015, we currently have 4 active projects and expect to award 7 new projects within the next 12 months. This will total 11 projects with a total dollar amount of $206,938,988 under the 2015-2020 PLA. The bottom table shows a comparison of the percentage achievements of the closed and active projects. Local hiring of the active projects is at 22%. Local apprentice hiring is at 38%, and transitional hiring is at 8%. I'm going to digress a moment from the report and let you know that there's one project that's in this new PLA, and it's the MyFig project. It's currently at 2% completion, but they have put in over 4,000 hours. What's happening is that their non-compliance is pulling down the achievement of their other project, which is in compliance. So what we're doing is we're maintaining constant communication with the inspector, and we're closely monitoring the prime and subcontractors' performance. Our PLA team had a second meeting with the prime in mid-February, where we reiterated the hiring goals and the implications of non-compliance. We also sent them a warning letter last week with their PLA monthly summary to motivate them to be more diligent in meeting their goals. And from here on, we'll be giving them bi-weekly updates on their hiring achievements. And actually, tomorrow, our PLA analysts will also meet with the prime and the construction meeting. Okay? Let's move on to page 4 of the report. On page 4 and 5, you will see a summary of the 31 active PLA projects and their completion status. The blue items at the bottom of page 5 are under the new PLA. At the bottommost sections of the table, you will see a couple of projects that have been awarded but have not begun construction yet. The Office of Contract Compliance participates in the pre-construction and pre-job meetings, and they serve as a venue wherein we provide them with the opportunity to address any questions they have about the PLA goals. Please turn to page 6. Page 6 indicates projects that are expected to be awarded by the Bureau of Engineering within the next 6 months. Actually, one of them was just recently awarded, the Albion Riverside Park project. And we expect the LCIS, the La Cienega Interceptor Sewer on the bottom, to be awarded this week. Okay, let's move on to page 7. On page 7 through 9, it's a list of projects that we expect and anticipate to be bid on within the next 12 months with a PLA or potential PLA attachment. We expect a total of 37 new projects to be bid with a contract total amount of over $294 million. 11 of these projects may potentially have PLAs added, totaling about $66 million. Please turn to page 10. On page 10, pages 10 and 11, this indicates the targeted hiring performance by project, broken down by each project. These include the 31 active PLA projects. This chart provides details of the local hire percentages for each project. At the bottom of page 11, you will see local hire is at 37%, apprentice hiring is at 23%, local apprentice hiring is at 57%, and disadvantaged hiring is at 19%. Okay. Please turn to the next page, page 12. Here you will see the local hire worker summary broken down by projects. The left 4 columns provide us with the worker count, and the 4 right columns show the number of hours worked. If you look toward the bottom, you will see a comparison of the active PLA projects and the completed projects. In total, PLA projects have employed over 2,149 local journeymen, 1,189 local apprentices, out of an overall of 11,226 workers, for a total of 2,280,163 hours. These local residents live in the most economically challenged communities who are in most need of employment. Finally, on page 13, this shows the total estimated wages reinvested back to the City of Los Angeles. This provides us with a breakdown of the money reinvested back through PLA projects. So if we combine the journeymen and local apprentices and local journeymen, we have employed over 3,300 local workers. And this has totaled an estimated 886,310 hours. This amounts to a total estimated wages of $29,227,146 that has been reinvested back into the local economy. This concludes my report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions at all? Commissioner Sanders?
Thank you, Angela, for this great report for the past history, the successes that we've had since the first phase, or 2010 to 2015. This issue with the MyFig project, if we could continue to watch that.
Oh, yes, we're
And-
closely monitoring it.
You
We'll-
expect that to get better over the time as they ramp up?
Oh, yes, and usually aside from monitoring them, we're in constant contact with the prime, and we give them breakdowns and tell them which subs need to be closely monitored.
Okay. I think a strong aspect of our PLA is really the Tier 1 and Tier 2, hiring of local residents and transitionals that really
Oh, yes, definitely.
creates opportunities, economic opportunities for those most in need in our city too. So great job. Please thank the primes for doing what they need to do, as well as the staff of Bureau of Contract Administration for a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Something else?
Angela, I have a question. And if I missed it, I apologize. But what I was looking for, I was listening and going through this. Do we have, when you look at page 10, the transitional hire summary at the top with the barcodes and the graphs, the local is 37%, but the goal is 30%. You see that?
Wait, hold on a second.
Right here.
Okay, yes. 30%, yes.
Okay. And then the apprentice and local apprentice, 23%, the goal is 20%. Disadvantage, the goal is 10%, we're at 19%.
Yes.
So we're exceeding our goals here. But
Yes.
compared to the last quarterly report and the quarterly report before that and the quarterly report before that, I'm just kind of wondering, what is our trend, even though we're exceeding our goals, what's our trend from year to year? So last year was the 37-39, or was it 37-35? See, you see what
Okay.
what I'm
Yes,
asking?
yeah. You want to know what the trend is if
Yeah.
we're
How are we trending?
Yeah. Basically, we're pretty consistently moving upward, I would say.
Could you add at the next quarterly report a slide that shows how we're trending?
Okay, we'll work on that.
So we can tell if we're
going up
improving
or down.
if we're moving
Yes,
down,
okay.
because then that can spark other questions too, and things related to market forces and things like
Okay, so did you want a trend, the quarterly trend or the annual trend?
I think an annual trend, well,
Okay, annual
yeah,
trend.
an annual trend is probably where I would start.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Commissioner Rivas?
Hi, thank you so much for this report. My question is related to the figure you have on page 13.
Page
the,
13.
The total wages reinvested. So you have it a little over 29 million.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Do you know what percentage that is of the total wages that are not local? Or
20%,
for the-
oh wait,
do you happen to know?
29%, okay. I have to calculate.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
percent.
I mean, is that what we expect? Is that like you think, do you have a goal for wages reinvested?
I believe as long as of course the goal is to always move up because, the percentages are the minimum. So if we can exceed that, that would be the goal.
But then this is you just
Yeah,
calculated
this
based
is
on the
just
other.
calculated on the work and the projects that have been completed.
Okay.
So
I was just
it's
curious what
definitely going to
percentage
move up.
this
Okay,
is of-
we'll look into that and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, you can get
but
back to me.
that's
Thank
good
you.
information also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Great, helpful. Thank you. Anything further? Thank you, ma'am. The oral report will be received.
Thank you.
Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, thank you. We are adjourned this Monday morning.